her response to so many things became abuse and abusive. My mother's 4'8". She's a little. She didn't. Have, no, she's like. She's just literally.
Yeah.
She's a fire hydrant. You know what I mean?
A Johnny Pump.
She literally is a Johnny Pump, right? And so I think there's just some part of her that was so frustrated with not being able to grow up, right? And have anything of her own. And now she's got this one kid that's smart and a smart aleck. And so her response to that was, oh, well, my power over you is that I'm your mom and I can control you with abuse, right? And so then I grew up and got bigger than her, taller than her and so forth. And we'd start talking back. I remember my mother used to do this shit where we would talk back to her. And you know the old school recorder where you push the red button and the thing beside it? My mother would put that on the refrigerator with the cassette and record us during the day when my dad wasn't home. And then when my father came home, she'd play the tape back.
Cawfee Talk. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cawfee Talk. We talk everything here, as you know, from life, comedy, and everything in between. I'm really excited for today's guest because I've asked him for months. We have not been able to schedule him on the podcast. He's a comic, a former Marine, and one of the sharpest minds I have met in this entertainment industry, my friend Royale Watkins.
Yes. Okay, let me correct one thing to start. There's never a former Marine.
Oh, right.
You're just
a
Marine.
Marine.
Yeah,
Sorry,
once a Marine, always a Marine.
Okay,
so I just have to let your guests know that.
Look at him. He's checking me already.
No,
Let me just
listen,
get my coffee in the morning.
I can't have
God.
that go out there and another Marine see this and go, he didn't fix the thing.
You know what? You're right. Always a Marine.
Yeah, always Marine. I'm the killer.
Marine. Yeah.
I'm doing your podcast, Cawfee Tawk, and I used to do this thing on Facebook called Coffee Cup Chronicles. And so the coffee is a thing.
What was Coffee Cup Chronicles?
It was, so my wife and I were doing a podcast and her schedule as a costumer got busy. And so I needed to find a way of engaging the audience under a different name when she wasn't in the show with me. And so I was like, oh, you know what? Get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, Coffee Cup Coffee Cup Chronicles. To go with it. And so it was just like a cup of coffee. They would get theirs and people start sending me coffee. It was a thing until, you just...
It's a lot.
You miss 2 or 3 episodes and
That's what, listen, it's so funny because I was like, I think I got to stop doing these every week. And people were like, no,
you got to do it.
And I did it because I wanted to start a platform. I wanted to do something. Everybody was doing podcasts. I did not think the world needed another podcast. But I was like, I want to connect with my audience in a different way. And another comedian, Joey Diaz, was like, people got to know who they got to know who you are. They got to know who you are. They got to know things about you. And everybody loved the way I said coffee because I'm New York Italian.
Yeah.
So I just called it Cawfee Talk.
I love it.
Then, But I met you oh my God, more than 6 months ago, maybe. Around then. And I did your show.
Yes. I hope you had fun.
I had so much fun on that show.
Yeah,
I had like a standout. It was a good standout moment for me because I loved the community you created. I loved everybody that was there. I loved everybody laughing. You, Earthquake, everybody was just in the room championing the other comics on stage. Yeah. The audience received me well, and it was a good feel. I'm
gonna tell you something. I so appreciate that because it's one of the things that, as a producer and a stand-up, I'm trying to make sure that stays alive because it's lost right now.
So important.
It's lost. That thing where, this is the thing I miss about New York, is especially like at the Comedy Cellar, it's like that space is built perfectly for, being able to do sets, go upstairs, sit at the table. Comedy community. And that you don't get that. And so I want comics to feel that sense of community. And, when you walked in, it's interesting because when you and I saw you, look, I can't see everybody, but I promise you, I have a standard for the shows that I produce, right? And so a lot of comics, young comics especially, want to get on. It's like, I have to see you. I can't. And so,
I love that you did that. That was so old school.
No, I got to see.
When I got that message, I'm like, I want to work with this guy. He cares about the formula of the show. He cares about the people he's putting up. That's like the way things should be done, not who has what following or what is. Yeah.
If you get dressed, you put on an outfit. you think about like what the shirt is, with the pants, with the shoes and the socks. It's a whole thing. And so I have the same kind of approach to putting together a show. A show should have a flow to it. It should have a build. In addition to that, Earthquake is co-hosting the show with me. Like, he relies on me to hand him a list of something that makes sense. If I give him something that doesn't make sense, then I look crazy. So again, when I saw you, it was a breath of fresh air. I was like, oh my God, she actually is doing stand-up comedy. She has jokes, she has setup, she has something to say.
Oh my God, thank you. Yes.
No, seriously, I'm being...
Yes, that means a lot.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and that's the difference between producing and promoting, because people like conflate the two. I'm like, no. Producing a show, most people promote a show. Producing a show is when you're mindful of the lineup and the flow and who's bringing what to what slot.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, I'm been doing stand up a long time. I just realized.
You gotta get into that,
right?
yeah.
No. Here's the thing. Like, late night talk shows that put comics on, what they don't realize is the bookers, more often than not, are former comics. And so that's why you get the scrutinization, the level of scrutiny that you get in late night TV when you see comics, or at least it used to be that way, because the bookers were usually somebody who used to do stand-up, even if it was for a short period of time. And those people used to hold stand-up in high regard, and their jobs was online. You know what I mean? They were working for some of the biggest comics, Johnny Carson, David Letterman, Arsenio Hall, people working for these big names in late night. And so they had to scrutinize the stand-up. And so I have the same kind of, I can't just put anybody on stage.
I felt that way when I produced shows, and I always treated comics with the utmost respect. And people would go, oh my God, I love doing your shows.
Yeah.
Because I was a comic.
Yeah.
And I knew how I wanted to be treated, so that's how I treated other people. Same when I bring an opener now, when I'm headlining, it's like I want people to come out and say they saw me and they had a great show from start to finish.
Yeah.
I want my opener to kill. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the, if I'm worried about somebody doing well before me, I should not, my name should not be on that. My name shouldn't be
I'm
that.
gonna tell you something. This is interesting. I love this. This is gonna be great because I remember when I was a young comic, I was so blown away and fascinated with Damon Wayans. Like, I was just like a little bitch for Damon Wayans. Like, you literally could have given me a skirt and pom poms and put a D on my chest, and he knows it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I saw him at Constitution Hall. It must have been 88, 89 or something. I was very young in comedy. And this was pre-social media, so you didn't know. There was no, Twitter, none of that shit to see who was touring with him. But Mark Curry was opening for him on that Mo Money tour. My God. You have never seen anybody go on before the headliner. And when I say completely, I promise you, Constitution Hall was rocking.
Right.
And so Sean Wayans was hosting. Sean came out and did his set. He was fine. He brought Mark Curry out. Mark Curry had won the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. And he was just Mark Curry today is fine. He's hilarious. Mark Curry back then, I don't know what he was on, but it was like
undeniable.
Super strength. Yeah, he was a problem. He brought Mark out. Mark did 20 minutes of the most amazing stand-up I'd ever seen, right? And so they took an intermission. Sean Wayans came back out and said, you guys want to see more Mark Curry? I said, what? Like, what else is there? Mark Curry did another 20 minutes.
Wait, before
Damon. Yes, that was the show structure. He came out and did.
Intermission, I feel, kills comedy.
It kills comedy, but it sells merch and beer and all of that stuff. So that you have to, in these venues, that's the deal. That's how they make their money.
This was back in the day. Yeah.
And so, oh Jesus, we're already having a back in the day conversation. If that didn't just age me in comedy.
My audience loves it. They're like, bring it back to the old days, Tara. Old school year.
He came back out and did another 20 that was fucking even crazier than the first 20. I was like, oh my God. I was like, how is Damon Wayans going to follow this? Damon Wayans is just a fucking surgeon. He knew that it wasn't about where Mark was. It was about, one, he was the star of the show, and two, he didn't try to match Mark's energy. He came out and went all like Mo Money, he did this fucking slow build that was like, oh my God. Like, it started over here and it just went and it went and it went and it crescendoed, and this place is like, okay, that's why he is Damon Wayans. And so when you talk about putting an opener on in front of you that's strong, I know Damon had the sense of mind that I want somebody in front of me that's as strong as Mark Curry is right now, so that I stay sharp.
Yeah.
That's exciting to watch.
That's what the craft is. That's what getting famous too fast and pursuing social media will not teach you.
Ooh.
You know, and it's like I don't want to be given any opportunity I'm not ready for, because I'm in this for the long haul.
I'll challenge you on that.
Okay.
Because I think that
you can rise to the occasion on certain things.
Yes, there are things that force you to.
Yes.
Steve Harvey had one of the most amazing clubs in Dallas years ago that I've never seen a club like it. He built it. A comic building a comedy club is dangerous. Mm-hmm. He had the green room. It was set up for comics. You know what I mean? It was set up for comics and consumers of comedy, right? It was set up for the fans. And most rooms built, the owner squeezed everything down to be able to get the most money out of the consumer. Very few of them focus on luxury and making sure the talent is taken care of. We were just at the Orlando Improv. Have you played there, Lloyd?
No, I just did something.
Was it Orlando? So I think it's Orlando Improv and Raleigh-Durham, right? Okay. Raleigh has a green room that is to envy. You go in there, it's big, it's comfortable, it's set up. It's like, oh, these people care about the talent, right? And when the talent is comfortable, then you know what I mean? You step on stage,
makes a
ready
big
to
difference.
go.
Yep.
But there are a couple of clubs, you know, that I've been in. It's like, these guys don't give a shit about. No, I'm not even they don't give two flying fucks about the talent. It's just about squeezing every dollar out of the consumer.
Have you guys done Cleveland Improv?
Holy. Yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't want to say it.
A boiler room.
That place is shitty. Chuckles and I'm being straight with you. Chuckles in Memphis.
It's still there?
I think it's closed right now.
Yeah, I think he closed.
Have you ever played that?
Yeah.
You played that?
I did.
It's the slipperiest floors in stand-up.
He was the first, but let me tell you something. He's one of the first club owners to believe in me and what I was doing. So I was one of the first clubs I worked.
Did you look in the kitchen?
No, I know.
Yeah,
okay, no.
It's bad. Now, I don't like shitting on clubs, but I just believe in telling the truth.
I saw things on the floor alone that I was like, ooh.
The air unit was dripping water on the front of the stage, so if you had to like move back. And so Steve, to the point, got it right. It was laid out. I had just did Def Comedy Jam, and I got really popular from Def Jam. I had this bit that just killed, and so it had all of this excitement around it. Steve brought me down. I got there on a Thursday, and I was like looking for the other comics on the show. I'm like, who else is on the show? He's like, oh, it's just me and you, and we might have somebody do a guest spot. So in my head, I'm like, the fuck? Wait, how is this? He said, I'm gonna go up and do some time, then I'll bring you up, and then I'll go up and close. And say, over the weekend, if we have somebody do a guest spot. So I'm like, okay. I literally like, okay. Now I'm like probably 24, 25, and you know what I mean?
How much time did he want from you?
I think I had to do 40, 45. And the first night, Steve went up in front of me and must have did about 20, 25 of Steve Harvey, like 20 years in season.
Yeah.
I literally drowned for 25 of my 30 minutes. And like, I remember being a kid in my neighborhood, DC public pools. There was this big gentleman who was also the football coach, who was the head lifeguard at the pool. And he would make kids who, you'd be young, you're excited to get in the deep end as a kid. All you want to do is get in 12 feet, right? And so Hank Saunders, rest in peace, the rule was that if you wanted to get in 12 feet, you had to swim all the way across and swim back with no help from anybody, any lifeguards. And so he would, every week, there would be tests to be able to graduate to the big end of the pool. And every week you'll see kids go across, and then they got halfway, start drowning, right? And then he would jump in and come save them. That was the exact feeling that I had working Steve's club back then. It's like, fuck, this is the deep end of the pool, and you got to be ready before you say you can swim the deep end of the pool. You better know that you can save yourself. And so that's why I say for me, I had to grow into those shoes.
Yeah.
So I think there are opportunities that,
Listen, I come from I have a motto now where I go, there are no bad shows.
Yeah.
Either I'm going to do great or I'm going to learn something. Or I could even learn something while you're doing well.
Yeah.
Because like I did a show the other night and the audience was laughing and I didn't think they should be laughing when I'm like, I didn't earn that one. Wait. Like,
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting how that happens, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes even you think you know where the laugh is.
And then you don't.
I
have had to change jokes because I'm like, well, this keeps getting the laughs. So I got to, you know. But it's
the magic.
Yeah. And that's, guys, just so when you're listening to this, it's like everybody thinks, because, perception is reality and things look so great on social media. Like what Royale is talking about. Like, comedy is not glorious. I have chose this life.
Oh, listen.
And it may look good online sometimes, but there are so many
make it look
things.
good.
Right. Perception is reality.
You make it look good.
I try, but it's I've been into comedy clubs this year where there were no green rooms, where just some rooms I'll never go back to. And then I meet great people like you along the way that make me go, okay, these are my people, or I found my people. I found a lot of them in LA.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely grateful, but it's hard. I want to talk just a little bit about the beginning for you because you are one of 14 children.
It's actually 17.
What?
There's a couple of more that that become a larger conversation about my dad and his recklessness.
Oh,
and
yeah.
My dad.
My papa was a Rolling Stone,
my
too.
dad was. He's just a wild. My dad is one of 11, and my mom is one of 16.
What?
My mom has 12 sisters and 3 brothers. And so they're the complete opposite of us, right? It's 14 of us or 17 of us, and there's like boys, and then 2 or 3 girls. But let's see. So the real number is 17, and I have 4 sisters, and then the rest are
all boys.
All boys after that. Not after that, but the rest are boys. So. I do the run: Rice, Rome, Raymond, Ramel, Race, Royale, Ramlet, Ralph, Reggie, Lord, Tammy, Ronald, Daryl.
Where'd he come from? The different
Tammy,
mom?
2 girls. The girls are not ours.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I was
there's
gonna say.
Daryl.
I was gonna ask
No,
if they
the
were all
girls-
with the
no.
same initial.
So my dad is Ralph, and my mom is Audrey. So the boys are R-A-W.
Okay. Wow.
R-A-W. I'm Royale Ensan. It's
I
like
mean,
Rice Anye, Rome
you
Marte,
have
Raymond
to, though.
Amigas.
Like, if you're going to remember these names, there has to be a formula to them. If you're going to have that many kids,
I used to practice that run. And so that's where, like, getting into the 17, it's just like, all right, enough is enough. Just do the 14.
What number are you?
I'm number 8.
So you guys were like Raw 1, Raw 2, Raw 3.
R-A-W. Mom, and,
you're the middle child. You're
one
the
of the 2 in the middle.
child
Yes.
of 17.
Yes.
Is that where your comedy had to come from?
No, there's 2 things. It's like, 1, you want attention.
Yeah.
Right? And 2, the making people laugh, is when they say comedy is medicine, it really is in bad situations to be able to get people to laugh goes such a long way. I was in Iraq and Kuwait in 90, 91 in the Marine Corps in Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And it was the worst. It was the worst. I remember saying my last prayer over there. I was like, oh, I'm getting ready to die. Like, God forgive me, seriously. Like, this is it, right? And the level of fear that starts to whip around, and the need for some piece of something, right? In these situations, like, gave me an opportunity to share something that, for the guys that were over there with me will tell you, like, oh my God, man, thank God, bro. We needed it so bad.
So you would be like the comedy relief.
Just comedy relief. Yeah, just have fun. It's bad. Yeah, and
we all know it's
people
bad.
Gonna die.
Right.
People dying. Yeah, literally, people are dying. This is a bad situation. But let's also laugh when we can laugh, because that's all we have after that.
Like, I don't know. It's like, I know if I have a bad day, I say I'm so grateful I can go to work. Like, who gets to say that? But I don't know if I was really faced with imminent danger like that. It's a gift. It really is a gift.
There's no question. Because
that's
in the right hands.
Yes. I mean, I guess, during like bad situations, I always say something, because I need that break.
Yeah.
Like I'll always come out with probably something inappropriate. But,
Yeah.
But just because it's like we have to laugh at it.
We have to.
And I guess that's kind of what you did. You did it out of like necessity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's to me, growing up in a family that size.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was 18 to 19, somewhat 19.
I mean, faced with.
I wasn't even 20 yet. Yeah. I was 19
Your
because I
own
was in my third year of
mortality
college.
at
I was in my third year of
19.
college and was pulled out of college to go over there. It's like I'm literally in college in D.C. running around having
So
the
how does
time
that
of my
work?
life.
You went in, you enlisted in the Marine Corps.
I went to the Marine Corps. I went in on a buddy system. Me and my buddy, best friend from high school, were in the ROTC program. And my instructor in ROTC was a master gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps, black guy. I had my last year of high school, my family moved from Washington, D.C. to Maryland, which meant I would have had to transfer high schools on my last year. I was like, oh, shit. But this teacher, Master Gunnery Sergeant Charles Washington, God bless his soul, he lived in Maryland just a little further than my house where we moved to. And he's like, nope, I'm going to come pick you up every day. And so I rode into school with him every day. He would literally pull his Lincoln Continental into my raggedy ass yard and blow the horn. He told me, you better be ready or you getting left. And so I ride with him, talk to me, blah, blah. And so my older brother was also a Marine. So between the two of them, it's like, okay, Marine Corps. And I'm in the ROTC program with my other buddy. We both say, oh, we're going to go into the Marine Corps together. He goes down. He signs up active duty. I go down the next day and have a change of heart. I was like, fuck this. I don't think I want to go active duty. I want to go to college, right? Because my brother worked at this school, it's college in D.C., University District of Columbia. It's like, I want to go to college. I sign up reserve, right? So he's like, what the fuck? We supposed to, and we'll do this, right? I go reserve, start going to college. My third year, 90, Desert Shield, Desert Storm is happening. And I get pulled out of school to go. He does his whole career active duty and never goes to any hot zones. So just like crazy.
The luck of the draw.
Yeah, so I'm 19 years old over there. Somewhere between 19 and 20. Running around, fearing for my life.
You were being funny on, there.
Yeah, I'm trying to share a life where I can.
There was never formal stand-up,
I'm doing stand-up before.
What age?
I started at 17, 18.
In D.C.?
In D.C., yep.
What club?
Tony Woods, the first time I went on stage in a comedy club, was at the Comedy Connection in Greenbelt, and Tony Woods put me up on his Thursday night. I was in class with his girlfriend at the time, and she's like, you need to meet my boyfriend. You need to meet my boyfriend. I was like, who's your boyfriend? Tony Woods. And so Tony Woods, who has, shaped a lot of DC comics, put me up, and the rest is history. Took off from there.
And you knew you wanted to do stand-up?
Oh, I was class clown, and, just the class clown who evolved into something more formal.
Amazing. And now your mom, 14 from her.
Yeah, 14 from my mom.
14 from your mom.
Yeah.
Was she like, how did she run the house? Because my mother had just me, and I always talk about I saw it in a post, and I've said it on the podcast previously. Now that I'm 45, I look back on my childhood.
You don't look a day over, 32.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's why I love them. No. But I look back on my parents now in a new light. And I've been very open and honest about where I come from and what my childhood was like on the pod. And I go, I'm in a different place in life where I go.
What does that mean? Open and honest with where I come from?
Like that how poor I was, or how my dad was an alcoholic, and how my mom's trials and tribulations.
Yeah, my dad was an alcoholic.
My mother really struggled with me the first 6 years, but then she got her self-help, and then which changed the trajectory of my life. She really made a sacrifice to get better and be better. But I look at my parents now, and I look at where they came from, because the older you get, the more stories you're told, the more you evolve, the more you become a woman who goes, wow, if I was in this position. And I go, my parents really did the best they could with where they came from. And I appreciate them now in a way that in my 20s and teens, I was rebellious or resentful, and I reacted and said things and did things, that reflected that amount of animosity I had towards them. And I just think my mother, I was her only. I wasn't my dad's only, but I was my mom's only.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does a woman, 14 children.
It's just interesting. It's like, this is so, first.
Hold it down like that. I mean, you're like.
Well, no. Listen, here's the thing. Let me address a couple of things. One, I just had to have a conversation with my mother because, they were abusive growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, how did my mother, she did it with a switch, with a belt, with,
We had wooden
with an
spoons,
extension cord,
shoes.
with all these
Yeah.
things. But here's the thing. I got it the worst. And, there's a point at which I realized that as an adult, there was some parts of me that was unhealthy because of the trauma that, my mom and dad inflicted on not just me, on us. But I think that there was, I was very smart growing up. Like I used to have to help my older brother with his homework, my younger brothers with his. I was a smart kid. I was bored in class because I was beyond the working advanced. And so I stayed in trouble because if I was bored, then, okay, I'm going to cut up. I'm going to entertain people, right? And so I think that my mother is the oldest of 16. Or the second oldest, because my grandfather, I think, had a daughter first, and so then they had the rest of the children. And so my mother, when you're the oldest of 16 and it's
you're always a mother.
12, you're the second mom.
Yeah, you're always a mom. You're always the disciplinarian.
As a adult who's I have children, I try to process what my mother had. 13 girls, periods, bras, all of this shit that my mother had to take on. And so at 18, I think my mom met my dad when she was 18. My dad was 9 years older than my mom. My dad had been off to the Korean War. My dad was married. My dad had 3 children by then, 3. Because my dad was a wild rebel. And this dude, I think at 15 or 16, had impregnated this girl. And they had the child, and the family of the girl like said, get this dude away from my daughter. And so my father met my mom. He'd already fathered 3 kids now and was in a marriage, got out of that marriage, met my mom, took her on, and started building a family. My mom is in some shit that is way over her head.
18. I can't even
my
think
mom
of
is like,
my mental
and a baby back
capacity
to back
at
to back.
She's a baby having babies.
She's a baby. So, but here's the thing that I realized is like my mother created the chaos that she tried to escape. Say that again.
Yes.
She created the chaos.
But is that because it's just familiar and we're almost more comfortable?
She created the chaos that she tried to escape. So then, therefore, I am the middle child in chaos. A mother who is trying to raise all of these kids, who's trying to love a man who's problematic, who's an alcoholic, who is the survivor of a Korean War, who has trauma, and all of these things. And so her response to so many things became abuse and abusive. My mother's 4'8". She's a little. She didn't. No, she's like. She's just literally.
Yeah.
She's a fire hydrant. You know what I mean?
A Johnny Pump.
She literally is a Johnny Pump, right? And so I think there's just some part of her that was so frustrated with not being able to grow up, right? And have anything of her own. And now she's got this one kid that's smart and a smart aleck. And so her response to that was, oh, well, my power over you is that I'm your mom and I can control you with abuse, right? And so then I grew up and got bigger than her, taller than her and so forth. And we'd start talking back. I remember my mother used to do this shit where we would talk back to her. And you know the old school recorder where you push the red button and the thing beside it? My mother would put that on a refrigerator with the cassette and record us during the day when my dad wasn't home. And then when my father came home, she'd play the tape back. And then my dad would turn into, they would make us sit on the steps, right? If you did something bad, sit on the steps. My father come home and anybody that was sitting on the steps, he knows like, okay, belt, that fixes the problem. So it just was abusive. I had to have a conversation with my mom to say, what was this about, to try to get some clarity. But to your point, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
No. What skill set, what previous lessons was she taught, being one of 17? What skill set did she have at 18? I'm only developing now my skills to handle
it's really
certain
hard.
situations.
I'll tell you this, it's really hard. I was in DC, played MGM National Harbor with Mike Epps, and there's no way that I could come to the city and not go see my mom, right? And so my mom is now 85, and I'm starting to look at my mom, and her health is, she's never taken care of herself growing up. You know what I mean? And so
she was never a priority.
She is never a priority. And we didn't have money, right? We're clinic babies. We used to have to get on a bus and go to the clinic. My kids are so privileged.
I know the kind of father you are. I've seen you in action as a parent.
Listen, but
I know.
So much of my parenting is informed by what I grew up in. And so I don't want my kids to lack. I want them to, I thought about this morning. It's like my kids grew up with housekeepers. My kids grew up with caretakers. My kids were in school and they would have lunch. I would literally go to Gelson's and pick up, lunch from Gelson's or Domino's Pizza, and kids would be like, "What the fuck is like the lobster truck?" My kids love the lobster truck. I would go get the lobster truck and go to a different Five Guys to get the fries and show up with exactly what and sometimes they want 2 different lunches.
Wait, so okay. How
I love
you
my
grew
kids,
up,
by the way.
We could get tell.
And I got grandkids now, so
how you grew up to the father you
it's
become.
just like,
so how does that jump happen for you? Because I know my mom had to go to she really had to work through, because she saw herself doing to me what my grandmother did to her. I talked about this on a previous podcast. Your mom used just to click on something you said, because I read a quote the other day, and it says, our nervous system will always choose a familiar chaos to an unfamiliar peace. Which means
that's powerful.
It is so powerful, and it just to kind of sink in to say it's
say that again.
Our nervous system will always pick a familiar chaos
to an unfamiliar
peace. And I sent it to all my girlfriends in toxic situationships or relationships, because it's this is I knew I wanted out of whatever I came from.
Yeah.
I chose partners that were different. I chose a husband that was different than that. My circle is so much different than where from how I grew up, which is not to say I forgot where I came from, but I had to evolve from it to survive.
Yeah.
And so my biggest fear in having kids, and I'm 45 and haven't done it, I have eggs on ice.
Eggs on ice.
Is that I want to break whatever that cycle was, and I don't know that I have the skill set. So I look at you. So how? So what was it?
Listen.
You did it.
Yeah, of course. I didn't do it by myself, though.
No, right.
And before we even get to that, I'll say, go have kids. I have a conversation with somebody that has sacrificed, a manager who sacrificed not having a family because
of the career,
the client, And this manager, who I've known now for 25 years, he's watched my kids grow up and become men. And now, the youngest one does stand up. The middle one is working at an agency. The oldest one has a family. And we have this conversation about what that feels like, what it brings to me, who it makes me as a person. And I was like, man, don't sacrifice that. You know what I mean? Go and build something. So I say to you, the part of you that deserves that, right? Especially this fucking business.
I know.
Oh, come on. This
I know. Rooted in rejection.
Rooted in rejection and chaos.
Yep.
So, but to the point, I just knew that, one, I didn't do it alone. I have a wonderful wife who's very patient and kind, and who has sacrificed a lot to allow me to continue to be in this business, but has also shouldered the burden of the responsibilities that come with being married to a comic who also wants to have a family.
Yeah.
And so it's a partnership that we've managed to now 26 years later, and 31, married 26, together for 31 years. It's we're figured out. It's so much work.
Yeah.
You're looking at a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I know.
I am a piece of work.
A lot of work for yourself. How'd you meet your wife?
We met, I did Def Comedy Jam, and I could give you the version of it where Well, here's the real version. She was actually dating someone, and they were watching Def Comedy Jam. And I showed up on the screen, and she said, "Holy shit, there's my husband." She said to herself, "There's my husband."
Love it.
And as fate would have it, I moved to New York and started performing at this club in Jersey, the Peppermint Lounge.
Not there anymore, but yes.
Yeah, not there anymore.
Yeah.
But the Mint, Bob Sumner, who helped
Sumner.
produce
Yeah.
Def Comedy, discovered me and had bought me up, and then I started performing there. And as luck would have it, her and her girlfriends used to come to the Peppermint. And she looks up one day and she's like, "Oh shit, there's my husband. He's now working this club." And Bill Bellamy had transitioned and moved out to LA. And so I was next up and started hosting their regular. And they just come every week, and she wouldn't say anything. And then after a couple of months, her girlfriend's like, "Okay, that's the end of this." Brought her over to me. She's like, "My friend wants to meet you." I met her. And then I took her through 5 years of dating hell. And,
How old were you then?
I was 24.
Yeah.
I was young.
Yeah,
Wow.
young.
And she's older than I am, so she's a grown ass woman trying to be patient with this fucking kid who's trying to figure out the trauma. And
I just did a podcast on patience. No, I have none, but you really need some in this business, and definitely for having kids. You've kind of, everything, like you said, everything looks good on social media, but I do look at your social media and I say, it's like something for me to aspire to. Not only do you just, do I think you're a good comic? Obviously you've proven that you don't need me, but it's just like
it's good to hear. I'll say that.
Yeah,
though,
yeah. It seems like you have the whole picture, as far as like you have this really strong relationship with your wife. You're so active and raising these 3 boys, and one of them even breaking into the industry.
Yeah.
You produce.
Yep.
You just did Mike Epps' special.
Mm-hmm.
We've met off stage.
I produce and direct.
I was gonna say produced
Yes.
and directed. We've met off stage
Yes.
on business ends of this
Oh,
industry.
Thank you for that, by the way. That's my retirement plan.
Yeah, that's gonna be my retirement plan.
No, that's gonna be insane. It's interesting how, as I struggle because I've never done a special, I haven't had the opportunity to do a special. I don't sell tickets on the road. At least I'm not aware of what I can sell on the road, because I think there's a part of me that really has to get out of his own way and go out and say, look, if you sell 50 tickets, you sell 50, but that's where you are right now.
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of relegated, for lack of better words, to this space where I have to go create things.
Yeah.
And some of the things that I have created, I really believe that, like children, God is like, "Oh, here's the thing that I want this person to be responsible for. I want you to nurture this thing that," and so the thing that I ask you to come be a part of is that thing that I go, "Holy woly, this is so much bigger than me," and so I'm really excited about that,
Yeah.
And I have like probably about no less than 10 or 15 projects that are in my computer or on my desk that I'm noodling with that, I believe are game changers. And once one of them gets going, it's going to allow me to do the thing that I really want to do, which is just go out on the road and have fun with no pressure or, need to sell tickets to do anything other than show up and have fun.
Right.
That's where the difference is.
And having fun, like I tell all my friends who are comics, like, before a big show, or if they're nervous about something, I say, have fun.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have fun up there, or they're not gonna.
Is what I asked my youngest son, who does stand up, after his sets, when he texts me and say, "Oh, Keith Robinson," he texted me yesterday. Keith Robinson put me up. He said he went to the Comedy Cellar and Keith Robinson put him up. And I said, "Did you have fun?" He's like, "Yes, that's the thing that I try to remember to focus on."
Very hard. I have to remind myself of that, sometimes, or I get a text from a friend who says, "Have fun," and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Have fun.
Can I ask, because one of 14 or one of 17, really, are all of your brothers and sisters?
No. So this is a great tragedy of my life. So first, I'll start from the top. My oldest sister, who must be about 70-something, 80. I've never met her. I don't know her. That's, that's painful. But that was when my dad was 15 and they.
Right.
I have 2 siblings, a sister and a brother, who passed even before I got here. One of them, infant, sudden death syndrome. Yeah. And then another one swallowed a bean and choked and passed. So my sister Karen and my brother Ragent both passed. And then I have my second to the youngest brother, Rome, sadly in 96. 96. He was working production. He used to help these bands in DC. Was working production, and these kids shoot up the club, and 4 kids get hit, and my brother was the only one to lose his life. And so that was July the 4th of 96. So here's a crazy story. July the 4th of 96, that happens. We have to bury my brother July the 11th. July the 18th, I have to go to the Montreal Comedy Festival and perform. Go to the festival. I'm like the darling of the festival. Like NBC makes a deal, Warner Brothers makes a deal, and I'm now in this deal to do a sitcom, and it's a whirlwind because there is the part of me that has made a phone call. It's like I'm like after Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and I make it out of that. I am in my head a different person.
You have to be, right?
I'm a different person, right? I'm just telling you transparently. And I cannot make peace with the reality that somebody has stolen like something so precious from me. And so, I can tell you transparently, I made a phone call to a friend in Baltimore, and I was like, this is what's going to happen. This is what, blah, blah, blah. And I talked to a couple of my brothers, and there's like, please do not come home. All right. Do not come home. Like, because I am like not the golden child, but I'm the one who's like, I literally have the opportunity to go change our lives.
Yes.
No, I have an opportunity to change the lives of my entire family doing this TV and film shit and being a comic. And now my brain can't process. The Marine in me is like, oh, you have a mission to go do. And the other part of my brain is like, oh, you have a responsibility to NBC and Warner Brothers. And so we move forward. They make the deal. We have to go make a pilot. We make the pilot. The show gets picked up immediately, and I'm a mess. So that's my brother Rome. I have a brother Raymond who was born with a bad heart. And so he died, can't remember the date, but he died as well. But his was more recent, like maybe 8 years ago. All right. And I have a brother who's locked up. Right. So I have this thing where I'm very clear that when you have a brother that's in prison and when you have a brother that's in the ground, a part of you goes both of those places. So there's a part of me that I walk around with, the part of me that's locked up and a part of me that's in the ground. And I have to manage that all the time. People don't. And when we was doing the TV show, again, the death of my brother changed me. And so I was walking around so angry, right? So angry for a long time. It took me 20 years before I finally could make peace with the death of my brother Rome, because I just couldn't continue to not live and be present and full. And I just remember one day when it happened, it was just like,
a loss great like that can make you feel like, how do I go on? Right. Yeah. Do you feel like that show, in a sense, whether it was the 8 episodes or not, saved your life at that moment?
No, I'll tell you.
Because you didn't do...
Nah, here's the thing. It could have saved my life, but I also think about the part of me that wasn't complete, that was robbed of the opportunity to be completely present and to have fun. I wasn't having fun.
But you didn't make a bad decision because you had you had to focus on that.
No, I did. I mean, I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Right. Life is about choices.
Yeah, yeah.
And I made bad choices. Yeah. But I know in that I made the right decision. And I'm grateful for it. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't begrudge. You know what I mean? Like us sitting here right now is a culmination of all of the experiences that I've had in my life that have led up to this. And so,
I try and look at that now when I think back to like my younger self or mistakes I definitely made, or regrets that I would have. And I go, I don't get this version of Tara without those mistakes, without those trials and tribulations, without those losses, those hits, those bad decisions. And, like I say, there are no bad shows. Kind of like, that's kind of the motto I'm going with. It's like, in order for me to be where I am, I had to kind of go through all of that.
There's no question.
So I love what you do as far as producing comedy. I want you to tell tell the audience now the two shows you do produce.
Okay, so it's interesting. The producing, just if I could, it happened because I wasn't selling tickets, so I had to find another way to stay in the business.
Yeah, I did it.
And so the mixtape comedy show is, I would say, my flagship show. It's the livest comedy and music show in New York City, bar none, probably in the country. I host it. We have a band. We have a DJ. We put up 4 comics. And we, over the last 16 years, I've flown back and forth from LA once a month to produce and now host that show. We have had everybody on that stage from... the list is short of the people who have not done the show. I can tell you who haven't done the show. Chappelle hasn't done the show. Louis C.K. hasn't done the show. And Wanda Sykes hasn't done the show. Almost everybody else has done the show. Kevin Hart's done the show. Chris Rock's done the show. Jerry Seinfeld's done the show. Amy Schumer's done the show. Kathy Sledge has done the show. Naughty by Nature's done the show.
Oh my God.
Like on the music side, there's so many people I can't even remember over like Full Force and like these like hip hop acts and legends have done the show. Denzel Washington came to watch the show. It's like blew my mind.
Yeah.
I have a picture of him watching the stage, laughing at the mixtape comedy show, which is insane, right? Anthony Anderson and I started the mixtape comedy show in January of 2009. In 2008, 2009, I had lost everything. All right, had too much money in my pocket. We bought a house in Encino, 4,000 square foot house on like a third of an acre, and paid cash to renovate it, put probably about $500,000 into it. Market flipped, lost my writing job, and we don't come from money, so there was nobody to call to come save us, and we lost it all. The one saving grace was that I refused. My wife April wanted me to sell our other house in Lake Balboa. And I was like, no, we're not selling it. And she's like, just sell it. And we'll all move. I was like, no, we just have to make peace with this and let it go. And we did. And so I was so financially disrupted that I was underwater. And I went to Anthony and was like, hey, I need your help. And he was like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, well, I'll put up a show. And because I just wanted I wanted comedy to save me. I needed to be doing comedy. I didn't need to, I thought about going to work at FedEx. I would have did it, but I needed I knew that there was a way that I could stay in comedy and say, Anthony said, whatever you want to do, I'll rock with you. He was doing Law and Order at the time in New York, and I had roots in New York. So I was like, okay, I want to do it in New York. I'll do it. It was like going to be impossible to get him to fly once a month. So after Law and Order got canceled, Anthony said, I gotta go back to LA. I tried to get him to come back, to fly back to do it. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It was too much for him. And I struggled, right? And out of the blue, I'm struggling. I'm sleeping on somebody's couch. I'm on buddy passes. I'm sleeping in the airport. It's like crazy trying to maintain the show, but I needed it. And so I got a call out the blue one day. It was a block number, which I never do, but I was so broke, I had to take every call. And I picked up the phone, and it was Chris Rock. He's like, Royale Watkins. I'll never forget this. He's like, Chris Rock. I was like, yeah, what's up, Chris? He's like, listen, just keep doing the show. He encouraged me. He's like, just keep doing the show. He said, I'll be there. And he showed up. And this is the powerful thing about social media, right? I just knew as a producer, get your backdrop up. Because the photos and the video footage and people see that branding. And when they saw Chris Rock on stage with that mixtape comedy logo, right? Then other comics started to go, oh, Chris was there? Okay, he must be doing something. Royale's doing. And just crazy, like how things are connected. Mario Joyner and I did this pilot together that we worked on called The Intervention of Mario Joyner. And the premise of the intervention was that Jerry Seinfeld, Colin Quinn, George Wallace, and Chris Rock, they all use Mario as openers, and Mario was so great as a comic that there's like the only way he's going to realize his greatness is if we fire him. So they were having this intervention with Mario to tell him, we're firing you. And we shot that pilot, and because we shot it and I produced it and co-directed it, I literally worked with Jerry, right? Here I am producing with this thing, and Jerry is like one of 4 comics that showed up to do it. And now I got Jerry Seinfeld on the stage with the mixtape comedy. And then Jerry shows up again. And then now Earthquake, we do Certified Funny. We're here on the West Coast, and Earthquake is a DC comic. And now after producing and directing these specials, what has happened now, there's this thing that's happened where comics go, oh, Royale knows how to build things. He knows how to build brands. He knows how to produce shows. He knows how to direct specials. You know, again, social media.
All things I'm taking note of.
No, listen, it's really interesting how the universe will, if you don't fight it, will go, here, I'm going to put you in this space so that you can learn something. And I've just taken it to heart and go, okay, well, let me, if this is the space I'm in, let me how to produce. If this is spaces that I'm in, let me learn how to direct. And again, after you start directing comedy specials, you know, for me as a comic, I just ask myself, what would I want somebody to do for me? And I pour all of that. Like, there's no ego. I don't care if I have to mop the floor while I'm doing a special. I don't care what I have to do. It is all about being in service of the talent, right? Let me tell you another crazy quick story. This is now the 4th special I've worked with Mike Epps on, 4th or 5th. The first one I was just writing and get a producer credit. The second one, it became producing. And by the 3rd one, it's like, oh shit, now you're directing and executive producer, right? In 2009, somewhere about 2009, 2010, I was on the road with Mike Epps. I'm selling T-shirts in opening, right? Literally. And so Jeff Wills, who's now the president of Live Nation Comedy, he was one of the promoters. He worked for a different company back then, Bay Area Promotions or some company. I think it's Bay Area Promotions, but like as one of the local promoters. He had been a promoter for Def Comedy Jam. I was on the Def Comedy Jam tour, again, had blown up. And so his point of reference for me is like, oh, this is Royale, the guy from Def Comedy Jam tour, blah, blah, blah. He saw me at the venue doing this mic show. I'm getting out of a cab for sound check with a box of T-shirts. And he's like, Royale, what are you doing? I just lost everything, my house, everything. I was so angry that I responded to him and said, Jeff, I'm taking care of my family. Like, it was just.
Yeah. Whoa.
Right?
Yeah.
That wasn't even, he was just curious. You know what I mean? But he had no clue.
Right.
And so I have a picture of me at a merch stand with a Mike Epps T-shirt on, selling merch for Mike Epps. But that's just where I was. And I did what I had to do to grow from that space. And now, again, I have a special that I'm executive producing and directing for the second time. I executive produced and directed Ready to Sell Out. And so all of that has been an accumulation of things learned and things that I've had to grow through, not go through, grow through to be able to sit here with you in this moment and say, look, I'm a much healthier human being because of those experiences and sacrifices.
Absolutely. It's why you're here. The character of you, it's so true. You're so genuine, your authenticity, your energy on stage, your ability to really care about the talent that you put up was probably the thing that stood out to me the most. Because sometimes I'll DM people or say, hey, can I do the show? And you were like, where can I see you? And I was like, yes, this is the show I want to do.
What it is,
Don't look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Look at the jokes. And
I did. And that's why I was like, oh, no, she's a pro. Yeah. She's not, this is not.
So, and even just the way Earthquake received me and told me how proud he was of what I did. It was just one of those moments where, you know, I come to LA on a whim and I meet people like you.
Yeah.
And it's like, these are the people I want. In your circle, these are the people you want to call and say, hey, I need this, or I'd like to work with you on this, or can you help me with this? Or so you need to find your people. I think, you know, we're both real testaments that it doesn't make a difference where you come from or what you have to grow through. You can make it to the other side. There's, and I say that to everybody listening to the podcast. We all have aspirations and things we want to do and don't think we can reach them, but it's just all a process. I loved having you on.
Oh shit, we're wrapping
Talk.
up. I was
We're
prepared to stay
wrapping
here for
No,
all day. We go for another 4 or 5 hours.
We could go. I
have one thing. Listen,
say
in
it.
response to that, I have just my only thing is like, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. You don't. God in the universe has something down the road for you that you have no idea. Just keep going.
Yeah. Listen, and there are moments where I want to stop, and I take those days and I I give myself the grace to say, all right, you're allowed to be, down today, or you're allowed to not have it in you today, but you can't wake up like that tomorrow. And so it's just keep going. But I do quickly want to ask you, because I used to do these videos and I still repost them because everybody relates to them. I go, my New York Italian mother used to say this, and people will go, that's my black mom. You're talking about my mom. That's my mom from DC. That's my, and it was just, sayings like, if you're going to cry, I'm going to give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
It wasn't that. It was.
I mean, you had the tapes.
Yeah, I have the tapes. I can go, Jesus, if I could find those tapes.
Yeah.
These FBI,
If you find those tapes, I mean,
I wish.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I wish. My mother would say, I would tell my mother something my father said. And my mother's response was, your father said what? It's not what your father says, it's what I say.
Right.
That's what that's the one that was a bit I used to do. Your father said what? It ain't what your father say. Jesus said what? So it was the built off of, that was her, Your father said what? It's what I say.
Yeah. And that'll be my motto as a mother. It's what I say.
Yeah. I'm in charge.
I froze you for a
freeze.
decade.
Let's go. Come on.
They are on ice.
Come on, let's go. Let's get to the babies.
Royale, tell everybody where they can find you.
They can find me on all social media at Royale Watkins. They can catch me every third Sunday in New York City at the Livest Comedy Music Show, the Mixtape Comedy Show. They should absolutely come to that. On the West Coast, here in LA or Burbank, more specifically, at Certified Funny every third Tuesday at Flappers Comedy Club. But online, engage at Royale Watkins, specifically on Instagram. I'm faster there, but I'm on Facebook. But I'm proud and happy to be here and to make this connection on Cawfee Tawk.
Definitely. Thank you. I can't wait to see all the things in store. He's going to bring real brains to this entertainment industry, and we need it. Thank you, guys.
God bless you.
Go to tarajokes.com for all my shows. Tampa, you're up next, and then it's Naples, Florida, DC, where Royale's from.
Yes.
I have a whole bunch of other cities. Providence, Rhode Island is finally back on the map, but that's not till September. I love you guys. Have a great week. Cawfee Talk.